Your mom and friends won't say where you went, but you won't mind if I look.
Twitter-length stories, 140 characters or less, a growing trend that goes by many names, like Twiction.
Tell me about the nightmare, and I promise I will.
Hint fiction.
Dakar, 1989. Everyone runs to the plane but me. I get the last seat, middle of 5.
Pico fiction.
A lot of what I write now is only a few hundred words.
David Erlewine is a lawyer by day and amateur author by night. He's one of a growing number of writers whittling their stories into tiny literary bites, just a sentence or two long.
I do like the idea of having a set number of words or characters that I have to comply with, and for whatever reason it helps compel a story out of me.
He submitted a story to PicFic, an online magazine devoted to stories written on Twitter, in blurbs called tweets. J.S. Graustein is the editor of PicFic.
He did a 14-tweet story, but each tweet could stand on its own as its own story.
They never met face-to-face, but worked over email as author and editor.
And I would read it, and I'd say, okay, well, tweet number 2 and tweet number 7 are right on, but tweet number 5 doesn't quite have an ending. Can you rework that?
Robert Swartwood also edits very short literature, but the criteria for his stories, called hint fiction, is a bit different.
I define hint fiction as a story 25 words or less that suggests a larger, more complex story. What is a story, after all?
After coining the phrase in an essay, Robert started a contest, which caught the eye of online trade magazines that showcase print and web literature. Then, the call every author waits for, a publisher. His hint fiction anthology is slated for release next fall. The anthology will feature major writers like novelist Joyce Carol Oates and poet Stephen Dunn, as well as amateur authors. Swartwood says the perception that these tiny stories are literature light is just wrong.
Do people nowadays have short attention spans? Yes. Is that any reason to dismiss or devalue Twitter fiction or really, really short fiction? No.
Once you've glanced at a Twitter-length story, you've already read it. A tiny dose of good fiction. Ali Weinberg, NBC News, Washington.